What's happened in Washington? It's Eric, candidate for the House of Representatives for Legislative District 24, Position 1, coming at you today with a campaign message from the campaign headquarters here in little old Quilcene, Washington, from my homestead, looking out over my backyard here. Wanted to put together a message because I've been away from home, putting things together sort of virtually. I came back home to take part in some local events and to visit family and just sort of have a weekend off, sort of rolling all those things into it. Anyway, taking some time this morning to try and put together a strategic plan for how to use some of the important money that you guys have donated. And as you guys are my donors, and people who may vote for me or who may support me, I think I owe it to you to be accountable for that. And that's what I want you to know here. We're looking at sort of rolling out some of this important money that you guys have donated as in the form of like text message campaigns, bulk mailers. They're kind of expensive is my understanding, but we might do a little bit of that. And then also radio, sort of radio spots, get some messages out there into the small radio stations that dot the Olympic Peninsula. Most of the money that's come into the campaign has come in the form of in-kind contributions. That's what's put together websites and sort of made things start working, the filing fees, any of the costs associated with overhead of the campaign. This would be things like website building, website hosting, all of that stuff. And I've tried to keep that out of my own pocket to try and maximize the use of the donation stuff. I don't think that the donations, in my opinion, sort of at the level we're at here, is well used for things like travel or meals or lodgings and stuff like that. I think it's best utilized. Most of the campaign donations, the revenue that's being generated or provided, should be used to get back out to the voter. So for you give me $1, I want to return to you, the messaging and the effectiveness of that dollar by getting out to voters. So that's sort of one of the principles that I'm operating here by. But it does mean that my campaign is generally sort of smaller. Strategically, I could probably be, criticized for that. I'm not a huge campaign. This is very grassroots. It is very, very much a small entry-level campaign for an important position, and we're taking this seriously. But in taking it seriously, I also want to make sure that I'm utilizing the important finances that you guys provide frugally and effectively for the campaign in the long term. So I really wanted to get that message out there because those donations are going to be critical for my campaign to get out there. The Legislative District 24 is a large district geographically, so traveling to and from any given point is going to be really difficult. So I have to lean on things like text messages, social media messaging, mailers, radio advertising, and really get things out there. I think signage is important, but I don't think it's a cornerstone. I don't think it's really critical to get the message out to voters. But I do think getting my story, the sort of connecting with people on their personal level, doorbelling, rat cards, that's going to be the good effect. And because it's just a small campaign, every dollar that you provide to the campaign should be used for that, in my opinion, or at least try to maximize that. So that's where we are with the donations. I'm going to try and make some calls today to some of the people that have donated. So if you hear from me, I hope you'll take the time to answer my phone call. I really, there's a lot of people that have donated to the campaign whom I've connected with on social media and who I've never met. And yet I'm really excited to chat with you on the phone. I appreciate your support. I think that if all of this support from around Washington can sort of come together in districts like mine, we can start to develop a strategy to sort of isolate the interests of Seattle and Olympia that we're not really super happy with. The rural counties of Washington state are basically subjects to those larger urban areas to our detriment, I believe. They don't understand our way of life. They want to push their way of life on ours, and I don't think that's quite correct. I think a lot of us can understand why we be concerned. I know that for me, that's been one of my primary concerns. And even locally in Legislative District 24, when you look at sort of the voting input that's happening, and this is sort of a responsibility that we as residents of Legislative District 24 own, and voters own in Legislative District 24, is we're being ruled over by single points geographically. Washington State is basically run by Puget Sound, right? I think we can all recognize that. And there's a number of counties there, but that population center tells a huge geographical area of vast, diverse thoughts how to live and inputs that on a lot of ways. The same goes with Legislative District 24 because you have Grays Harbor, Clallam County, or part of Grays Harbor County, Clallam County entirely, and Jefferson County entirely, all in this. And by and large, the most excited voter base is in Jefferson County and centered on the Port Townsend area. That voter base is huge. Excuse me. So we look at the data of how the votes come in, and really its primary influence comes from the Port Townsend, the Jefferson County Port Townsend area. So it's sort of a small, Legislative District 24 is sort of a smaller representation of Washington as a whole. Large geographically, but captive to a very small geographically high population density area when it comes to policy and our government. Legislative District 24 is very similar. So I'm kind of going on a little bit, but to get back to the original point, that huge geographic area, I need to connect with voters that are not excited because the math works in Clallam County, in Grays Harbor County, if you can get people out there to vote, if you can get Eric Pratt's name out there to be connected with and say, yes, I do want to speak to power by saying, no more Port Townsend in charge of our district. No more, we want to speak for the larger district, not just let this small group of very hyper-focused voters speak for us. So your donation, every dollar, is important, and I appreciate it. I won't carry on too much more. I'm going to try and message a little bit more while I'm at home. I've got some balancing stuff to do. I'm actually still on my project back on the East Coast. I just wanted to get back here to do a couple things, see some family, and have a weekend, cut my grass, do all those things that we all do. But I'll still be going, even though I'm working out on the road. So I hope you guys are well. If you have any ideas, feel free to shoot me an email. I think you can contact me through my website, which is prattforwashington.com. You'll see it on my X account periodically, at least my campaign X account. So go ahead and go there and check it out and donate if you can. For every $250 that I can use, I can basically get out to 10,000 people. So with a text message, which is huge. And if I continue to get the names out there, play those numbers, make sure it's used effectively. And I'm sure there's some dismissal, but getting out there is important. So for every $250 that the campaign gets, you could say 225 of that is going to go to messaging nearly 10,000 people. That's kind of where it's at right now. Appreciate all you guys. I know it's rough out there. We're all going through a lot of sort of ups and downs with things, but this is the work that we need to do. People like you and me engaging on a personal level and taking on picking up the shovel and starting to do the work. That's what it's going to take. So that's why I'm here. I hope that's why you're here. And I certainly appreciate it when you help me or take on something yourself. So hope everybody's well. Keep on going, Washington.